Welcome to Warehouse Wizards podcast powered by Optiorix. In each episode, we are going to explore several hot topics within the warehousing industry with industry experts. And today, we are very honored to have one of the rising stars of the warehousing industry, Maxim Hendrix. Maxim, you're very well known here and around Ghent. But before we deep dive into the questions, could you maybe briefly introduce yourself?
Hi, Bart. Thanks for having me. My name is Maxim Hendrix. I'm 34 years old and I am the warehouse manager at TD Synnex. That's the world's largest distributor of IT-related technology products. I oversee the Benelux warehouse. That means all incoming stock management as well as all the shipments towards our customers.
You have been a warehouse manager for a couple of years now. What are like the main challenges you encountered so far?
The main challenges we encountered in the technology market is that we have a highly demanding due increased labor and freight costs. Managing our logistics model is very challenging because it's questioning us continuously in how we can do things better, especially on the freight cost side, but also on labor cost. To give you some examples, our freight cost is one of the two main cost drivers. We challenge ourselves to ship the box in the best possible way. One of the hot topics is now how we can go to less air in our boxes, but as well having less transport damages in making sure that the customer experience is better and better. The second topic is in Belgium. We are a country with automatic wage indexation, as you all know. So our payroll cost is going up, but the volume is not going in the same direction. Sometimes it's go less up than we want. So the cost per coworker increased, and for that we have to mitigate that cost. Because we are committed to excellence, we continuously think on how we can work smarter and not harder.
If you compare those costs, is one a lot bigger than the other one, freight versus labor?
I think it's more over 50-50 in our model. Also depending on what kind of model you have. We don't own our own transports. We work together with DHL Parcel, with GLS Parcel in Benelux. So a good partnership with the carriers is very important. And if you look towards our labor costs, payroll costs, that's increasing. That's a given fact. So you need to cope with that.
All right. We also heard you're working on an automation project. Could you tell a bit more about that?
It's a very beautiful project. Being the largest distributor combined with the technology market makes us questioning on how we can be future-proof. And that's why we decided to upgrade our WMS. So we will upgrade our warehouse management system, and we will also automate specific processes within our operations. At this moment, we are a very conventional warehouse. We drive at this moment with our trolleys during the shelving and the racks, and we want to automate that process. So everything that we repack in a box will be automated. Of course, the biggest challenge for us in this one is we don't want to lose our flexibility. See, if you got and now we are in Q4 of our fiscal year, we've got a lot of shipments that are going up because of Black Friday, Cyber Monday. I don't know how to say that.
Discounts that are given by salespeople.
Yes, indeed. So we need to also be flexible in how we can manage our
So flexibility is also important. Are there parts of the processes that you have automated? Some flows you have not, and how did you choose for these ones?
Well, that's pretty straightforward. What we did was we looked where do we got most of the activities and where do we got the best benefits out of it. We got two main flows. We got the process where we repack everything into a new box, and we've got the process where we ship original boxes. We intended to automate the repack processes.
All right. Master data. It seems to be quite important when looking at automation. Was this also the case for TD Synnex?
Of course. The previous
Happy to hear that. Yeah.
the previous name of TD Synnex was Tech Data, so
Yeah.
it already has data in it.
Mhm.
But at TD Synnex, especially in logistics, material master data is really important for two main reasons. One, as we're going to a new WMS, we will have an enhanced logic of our cubing, meaning how we create our boxes, what products will we ship together in one box. And the second one is how we slot our products into our
Yeah, so how many
location
SKUs
bins.
can fit in the bin?
Yeah, for instance. And at this moment, that's a really manual process because yeah, you receive a pallet, you check the pallets on site, and you think that okay, that's a meter 80, that will fit a bin of 1 meter 80. But that takes a lot of experience. Sounds ridiculous, but having a new guy, a new coworker on the shop floor saying this pallet, this volume needs to go to that specific bin, it's quite challenging because you don't only need to take into account the volume, but also as well the velocity, because you want to have your high runners closest to your outbound and your slow movers way up in the warehouse.
Yeah.
So
all right,
that
good.
takes experience.
One question on the cubing. How many box types do you have at the moment?
At this moment, we've got 6 to 7 box types.
6 to 7.
Yeah, you can write that down.
6 to 7 is quite a lot, Maxim.
That's quite extensive, but of course, as we go to automation, we will go to one footprint for 80% of our boxes.
Okay.
And then 20% of our boxes is still open for the packer to decide in what type of box they can choose.
Okay, so there's some flexibility there as well.
Yes.
Okay.
On the other hand, I spoke of an enhanced cubing logic. There, the length, width, height of a product is really, really important to know because that logic makes us decide how we will ship the box to a customer.
Okay.
And as we receive a lot of new SKUs in our warehouse, it's up to the inbound co-workers to decide what's the length, width, and height. At this moment, it's liquid cubing. That's not really, it's important, but not as important if you go to, for instance, 3D modeling.
Next to automation, are there also manual processes that could benefit of correct master data?
Yeah, what I see, if you got wrong master data, that really cleanse the path in the warehouse. So good master data makes less exceptions. As soon as it enters the building, it enters the warehouse, a new SKU, everything needs to be in place. They need to decide what's an OPAC, what's a repack. Takes a lot of time to train new people. So automating those processes, for instance, the automation of how we capture our new SKUs is beneficial towards that training.
Okay, and why is it so hard right now to capture decent master data? Because in the end you would think, okay, we're going to use good old tape measure and that will do the job.
Yeah, it's not only, if you talk about material master data, obviously you think about length, width, height, but it extends a lot more than that. At inbound, the coworker decides how we ship the box. If you receive, for instance, a big LFD, large format display, you don't want to ship that with a standard carrier, for instance. It's up to the inbound guy that says, okay, I need to add some special transport indicators to it. Or if you want to decide where do you want to put the new SKU, you also need to know, okay, what type of product is this? Is this a product that we have to say we want to put it in a replenishment model, or do we want to put it all stock on the ground floor, on a bulk location?
Okay.
Really depends on what type of product you have. So.
All right. Okay. And that decision factor that is decided by people on inbound or based on a couple of flags in the system?
It's based on a couple of flags.
Okay. Yeah.
Normally, the first decision is if it's an OPAC or if it's a repack, if you need to repack into a box or if you ship it as an original. And then you also need to decide if it's a repack, what to do with the master carton. If it's a shippable master carton, if it's a mixing master carton. So that all together makes it complex and makes it also possible to put it in a flow.
Yeah. All right.
But it's, I see it as like a decision tree, and the coworker needs to follow the decision tree.
Makes sense. Thanks for clarifying that aspect. You were talking about automation. A big part of the warehouse operations won't be automated. Why was that? Was there something specific in that flow?
Yeah, for me, those are two topics. One is the common sense ROI. If the ROI is not beneficial, don't do it.
And are these specific types of goods or?
OPACs, we don't.
What's an OPAC?
OPAC is an original. It's an original box. Means I receive that article and it's too big to rebox it, and it is transport worthy. So it's shippable as the product itself. All right. Now, OPAC is a process that is not beneficial for us because I think we have 2, 3, 4 co-workers working in that area, and we already maximized the process or enhanced the process to the maximum. So that's not beneficial.
All right.
And on the other hand, we've got also a process called special order handling, where the customer requires special requirements. For instance, it needs to be shipped on a Euro pallet, 1.80 m, put it on one layer per product, etc. So to automate those type of processes is difficult because you need that flexibility.
Yeah. All right, clear. For companies who don't have the volumes of TD SYNNEX and who don't have the business case to automate their warehouse operations, are there like tips and tricks you could give? Like, are there tools you could use to optimize your operations or to apply analytics?
If you got the data, you need to use the data. One of the things that we did as we are continuously improving, it's not that we said yesterday we will automate. No, there's a track record of all steps that we take or took prior to the decision to automate. We enhanced every step of the process. Up until then, we said, okay, it's really minimal gains we can have now by automating, by software in introductions, etc. And at that moment, we said, if we want to go be future-proof, let's go for automation.
How do you measure effectiveness within TD SYNNEX, within the warehousing operations, and what are the key KPIs you're looking at?
There are two major components that we measure. It's one, the logistics costs, which is driven by payroll and freight costs, and the second one is the customer complaints. Based on, let's put it like this, the price per unit or the cost per unit. That's a better description. If the cost per unit is okay, then we know we are doing a good job. Of course, on top, we measure productivity and internal quality to see is everybody following the processes in the right way? Is everything shipped on time, etc.? So those are KPIs that facilitates to understand and to control our cost model. And on the other hand, also a major important KPI is to track on the customer complaints we receive from the customers. For instance, if you got a short shipment or wrong shipment or an overshipment, that's all tracked. If you got damages through transport damages, that's all tracked with the feedback that we receive from our customers.
All right.
And there we got clear goal settings where we try to achieve.
All right. Seems like you got it all figured out. So happy to hear.
Well, I think we are in a good shape. Also interesting times at this moment with the project. So yeah, it's a very pleasant time at this moment working at TD SYNNEX.
So closing question. Now that you're officially have become a warehouse wizard and you can really look into the future, What vision do you have for warehousing? Like, do you think automation will be able to eliminate all human interventions, or will it always be like a mix between both? Do you
I
think?
think if I speak about distribution, there are really a lot of opportunities to automate, not only from a mechanical point of view, but also from how you use your data, what you can do with your data, learn more about the processes, where the benefits are, where the opportunities are. So that's for sure where there are opportunities, but still there will always be a human intervention from my point of view. If you automate specific processes, you want to keep the flexibility. You want to keep the flexibility in terms of if the machine breaks down, for instance, you want to have backup processes, and the backup processes are dealt by coworkers. On the other hand, if you use analytics, something creates an output, somebody has to do something with that output. Means like if you want to increase the velocity in terms of I want to put my high runners closer to my outbound. Yeah, somebody needs to make sure that those parameterization is okay. And if something needs to be relocated, then you still got a team that needs to ship and relocate the boxes.
All right. Thanks
So-
for sharing all this experience with us in this podcast
With
today.
pleasure.
So it was a pleasure having you over.
Thank you very much, Bart, and good luck.
Thank you as well, Maxime.